Hey everyone, this is the kids talk bit. Me and Billy, we're doing it together. This is calling it. I don't know. Give us a name. What should we call this thing? I'm calling it Kids Ministry with Kids for Kids, but that's not a very catchy name. That's more of a descriptive kind of what it is. Billy's something or other. Billy's banter. Oh, I like that. How you going, Billy?
Good.
Good. We generally read a Bible story and talk about it. Yep. And this is 1 Samuel 3. This is what Sally's talking on today. And Sally, you kind of, when I heard what you wanting to do that's kind of what I was going to do. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll kind of both do it. I'll do it in a attenuated way, which gives people a chance to think a bit more. Samuel 3. Have you read this one recently? This is about the call of a guy called Samuel,
I know
where
this
God
one.
calls out to him. Do you know that one?
Yes.
Okay, let me read it. So we'll read it together, and you interrupt me and make comments and ask questions and things like that. 1 Samuel 3. The boy Samuel. So just as a whatever. Let's just jump in. I was going to give backstory, but
Don't fall in love.
don't fall in love. What does that mean?
Remember?
No?
Wrong one I was thinking about.
That's all right. Oh,
Yeah.
you're thinking of Samson. Ah. Wow, good one. Yes. Maybe we could tackle that one another time. The boy Samuel. So this is when Samuel was a boy. I don't know. He would have been maybe 10-ish, something like that. Before Samuel ministered before the Lord. So basically, when he was weaned as a kid, I'm giving the backstory because I have to. When he was weaned when his mum stopped giving him milk, then she gave him basically to the temple and the priests and stuff at the temple to raise him. So he basically grew up. There was no temple yet, but you know what I mean. It was like the Ark of the Covenant was there somewhere, and there were priests, and it was a temple, but not a temple.
I know who her mum is.
Yeah. Who?
Hannah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, good one.
She was praying in the temple.
Exactly.
And she asked for a kid, and she said that she was going to give the kid to the priests as soon as he was old enough.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah. That was a lot more succinct and to the point. Good work. Good work, Billy. You're nailing it. All right. So this boy.
And he also heard Samuel, and he thought that it was one of the priests.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
And I think he went there 3 times, and then he kept on saying, "It's not me."
That's right. That's the story we're going to read right now. That's the summary. So let's read it. The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. In those days, the word of the Lord was rare. There were not many visions. That's interesting, isn't it? So sometimes in their day there was lots of visions, and other times there wasn't many. One night, Eli, whose eyes were becoming so weak that he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the house of the Lord.
There's also another thing.
Yeah, go.
At the end, we find out what God wanted to say to Samuel.
Yes.
He wanted to say that Eli's 2 children, who I think are older now.
Yes, they are older adults. Yep.
Are going to be punished.
Yeah, they've done some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, they were like the worst.
That's right. That's exactly right. So the Lord called to Samuel. Samuel answered, "Here I am." Does anyone know what the Hebrew word for that is? I think a lot of people do. The Hinanai word, that's how we're pronouncing it, Hinanai. I was listening to Bold Project and they pronounce it Hinani, which is probably correct, but let's just go with whatever we're going with. It's just, Hinani, He ran to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me." But Eli said,
It's not me.
Exactly. Go back and lie down. He went and lay down. Then the Lord called, Samuel. Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am. You called me. My son, Eli said.
It's not me.
Exactly. So Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. A third time, the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am, you called me.
It's not me.
Exactly, and Eli realized, this must be God calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood there, calling, as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. That's interesting, isn't it?
Samuel, 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 Samuel.
That's really cool how it says that the Lord stood there. Does that remind anyone of anything?
Yeah.
Does that remind you of anything? What does that remind you of?
It reminds me of the first story.
Yeah, what's that?
Adam and Eve.
Yes.
He used to walk on the earth.
That's totally what it reminded me of as well. God walking in the garden, right? And then here we have the Lord standing in front of Samuel and speaking to Samuel. So this is like an Garden of Eden moment where something really special is happening. And I've got goosebumps just the fact that you picked up that allusion. So it's really interesting and that's really cool. So, I mean, this is a kids' talk. I should be talking to the kids. Hey, kids. Does God speak to you guys? And I'm talking to the adults as well. How does God speak? How does God speak to you guys? I'm interested in just to prepare for what Sally is doing. Maybe a show of if people are brave enough to put their hand up. Feel free to. You don't have to though. Don't have to out yourself. But some people might have actually heard God, like almost as if it's out loud, or in your head. Anyone actually feel like they've heard God?
No.
Yeah, Richie's got his hand up. So there's some people that have actually heard words from God. Other people have dreams where they feel like God is speaking to them in a dream. Anyone had a dream where they think that God is speaking to them?
Like Joseph.
Yeah, exactly like in the Bible, but now it happens to people now as well.
And the other Joseph. Joseph, Mary's husband.
Oh, yeah.
And Joseph, King of Dreams.
There's lots of Josephs that have dreams. It's heaps of dreams happening in the Bible. Anyone? Yes, there's a few hands that people... Yep. That's awesome. So sometimes God speaks to some people in dreams, and that's a legitimate thing. What are some other ways? Sometimes, well, for me, I don't know about other people. Have people had experiences where they're reading the Bible and they feel like God is speaking to them directly through the Bible? There's probably, a lot more hands with that one. So because sometimes God speaks to us through the Bible. There's probably other ways as well. But, yeah. So kids...
Like visions.
Visions, yeah. So
a few prophets get that.
Uh-huh.
Like, God would appear and he'd have some weird things with him.
Yep, absolutely.
For example, I don't remember what the prophet's name was, but I think it was near a beach.
Yep.
And God appeared, and around him were a human body, but it had a lion head, I could see.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can't think of where that one might be. Maybe a Daniel vision. Yep.
And then there was also a human head as well.
Yeah.
And so many others.
Yeah, I think that's a Daniel vision.
And above all, in front of them was, like, I think they're spinning rings.
Oh, yeah, Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel.
And right above of them was God sitting on a throne.
Yeah, that's the one, this kind of movable throne with these weird wheels and fire and stuff.
Yeah.
That's in Ezekiel. Good one. So I'm interested, show of hands, anyone had... Tim's interested in visions, and I'm sure other people are, this idea of visions. Has anyone here had a vision that they think is from God? There might be some people. There's a few nodding heads. People have had visions. So God speaks to different people in different ways. And so that's really cool. So kids, basically my talk to you this morning and Billy is that God wants to speak to us, and he speaks to us in lots of different ways. So let's continue to listen and I guess respond down the track as well. Good one. Thanks, Billy. We're doing music now. Another song.
I don't think the Bible we were reading is over.
No, there's more to it, but I just sometimes you just have to shorten things because they take.
Please just read it.
Okay. I'll read it. I'll just finish the story. Well, how about you just give the summary? Do you want to just give the summary? Or do you want me to actually read it?
Actually read it.
All right, Billy wants me to read it. Samuel, speak, for your servant is listening. And the Lord said to Samuel, see, I'm about to do something in Israel that will make the ears of everyone who hears it tingle. At that time I will carry out against Eli everything I spoke against his family from beginning to end. For I told him that I would judge his family forever because the sin he knew about, his sons blasphemed God and he failed to restrain them. That's pretty scary for us parents and leaders.
That actually reminds me
Go.
of a few nights ago I was reading the Bible.
Yeah.
And there was a king
Mm-hmm.
and there was also a queen who was the king's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember who, but someone came over and he was a good one.
Yeah.
But the two that I said before were not good.
Yeah.
And then that king says, do I come in peace? And then the other one said, there's no peace while you and your mother rule.
Oh, yep. Was that Rahab maybe? Jezebel? Jehud?
And then I think shot an arrow at him.
Okay, that's bad. That's not G-rated. But anyway, whatever. All right, and then anyway, after that, Billy, we're probably not going to read it because it's taking too long. But after that, there's this judgment that God judges the house of Eli because of the bad stuff his kids did, and that he didn't stop it. But anyway, maybe we'll look at that another time. Thank you, though.
I'll say the rest. I'm just going to say that then the mother called him a murderer.
Yeah.
And then said who's on his side. And then he said pull her down from the window.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, good one. All right, we're going to pass it over to these guys. Thanks, Billy.